Good evening, viewers, and thank you so much for joining us from wherever you are joining us from around the world. We appreciate your viewership. We appreciate your time that you're with us, you are spending with us, and first and foremost, we would like to sincerely apologize for starting the program this late. This is due to some challenges and technicalities beyond our control. However, the program goes on, and I'm with Mukelabai as always. Mukelabai, good evening, and thank you so much for being with us.
Good evening, Lawrence, and good evening, viewers. Good to be back again.
Okay. Now, remember, those who joined us yesterday, we started looking at the UKA rally and reviewing it from what's transpired, what is hot, uh, right in the news and on social media. What you people have reacted to, what you have felt this particular rally delivered, or maybe it lacked. Now, we talked quite a lot yesterday on the surface, and today we want to delve into the details. And first and foremost, Mkelabai, I want us to spend a little bit of time looking at the legalities around this particular rally, bearing in mind that UKA is not actually registered either as a society or as a political party or anything. It's just on paper. So we one is wondering how they managed to get a police permit this time around.
Uh, well, anyone that wants to hold a rally or a gathering, for as long as you get permission to with to the authority and you fulfill the requirements, I believe anyone can hold a public gathering. You know, so maybe it is. You don't have to be a registered political party. You don't have to be you can actually be a group of church communities or just a social groups where if you are more than five or more than 10 or rather if you are more than 100, you actually are required to get such kind of to notify the
Okay,
police.
okay, Labai, I thought the law actually demanded that one that for a grouping to be eligible to hold such a rally, that's in the Public Order Act. That particular grouping must be registered. Just as you mentioned, a church should be a registered society. You can't just go to police and try to host uh, 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 to conduct a church service as what, in those lines. You and me cannot just say we want to go, for example, and protest as what, protest on what. We have to be clear on all these things. But this time around, I don't know how UKA managed to go as to or to circumvent as these requirements, if I'm not mistaken.
No, they're not. I don't think. Maybe we should just try to read the constitution and try to read the Public Order Act and find out exactly what it entails. But from my understanding, because I haven't had I haven't read through the Public Order Act, but from what I know is that as a democratic country, we have the right to express ourselves, and we have the right of to gather. We have the right to even protest. But those rights, yes, they are derived in our constitutions, and also those are guided. We are guided by the Public Order Act in when it comes to maintaining law and order in a country, so to avoid that they may uh, the gathering may erupt into an security situation. So that's where now there's that need for the police to know. They're actually the police by law. I'm made to believe that they are not the ones to authorize. All you do as an independent, as a citizen, you just inform the police, and then for it's now up to the police to simply read through their security setup, and if they suspect that they are not, they don't have enough manpower, they can come in and intervene and say, you look, you can't hold this due to security concerns. Otherwise, people are allowed, they are entitled to gather, you know, but the police comes in to just simply dead stamp the gathering whether it will be okay, because the police are there to protect properties and lives. So if they see danger or they suspect that there could be some security risks, they can intervene, and they have the right, because they are the rightful institution that is mandated to maintain law and order. So they can actually use that prerogative by denying or stopping any gathering from taking place, or allowing the gathering to take place. Otherwise, we are in a democratic dispensation. Therefore, anyone that wishes to hold a gathering or a public whatever has the right to do so, for as long as you follow the right procedure. You don't need to be a registered entity to
Okay.
register. I can give an example of Amalilo. Do you have to register that now for an canteen to register to me to the society of registrar to register Chiriro? How? Because and Pamariro people, they gather. There are a lot of people that come for funerals. That's a public gathering. But the police can also uh, intervene if they see that that gathering may cause a security risk. They may come in and stop. That's the public order allows so. In case of also diseases, that's where you find that the police may use that as through the professional advice from the medical uh, institution, that people are not allowed to gather due
Okay.
to pandemic and stuff. So they,
Um. Uh.
yes.
Mukelabai, Mukelabai, if we go into issues that were raised now, I think probably let's look at some of these issues one by one and see if the UKA are actually right, or maybe they deserve to be bashed for some insinuations. Uh, First and foremost, the promises that the UPND and President Haga in the Hijilema made before being elected into office seem to be one of the things that were highly raised on this particular rally. First and foremost, we can look at the prices of millimil, where the incumbent had promised that once elected would reduce the price of millimil to 50 kwacha a bag. But obviously, the opposite is what has happened. They also reminded the incumbent of his promises to reduce the price of fertilizer from then 350, around 350 to 230 per 50 kg bag of fertilizer. But instead, what has happened is that the price has actually doubled, which is ranging to 700 or even more in some areas. We can also talk over the prices of fuel, which were promised to come to 12 kwacha. and the situation is actually double as things stand from where it was. Uh, we can also talk of the 14 hours issue where the president said sworn in at 10 hours, at 14 hours the dollar appreciates, and now the dollar seems to be hitting all-time high records, and it's where we are, and they are reminding the people and calling the president names like Umaichoyu, Chimbwino plan, things like that, and reminding the citizens that actually they were duped.
That's just politics and bitterness working. During that public rally, um, a lot were said. That public rally was actually not for UKA or the opposition. Their subject and their main subject was HH. You know, and you cannot give or you cannot point a finger at HH for having failed to deliver when his tenure of office has not even ended. He just started his presidential, it's been almost 2.5 years since he came into power, you know, and we know why most of his promises that he had promised had not been delivered, and because they're in a pipeline. And the other thing is, he found there was a caveat. A caveat meaning there was a huge, huge debt that this man himself, Akainde, did not even know very well about. Not until he came into the system and got into the government. That's when he saw how these guys destroyed the nation. Because I believe he had no privy information that he has today before he got into office. And that time, yes, he may have made those promises, which most of them, if not 50% or 70% of the promises he made, have been fulfilled. And I hear nobody is talking about it, talking about the CDF, talking about the enhancement of CDF, talking about the education, the
Mukelabai,
free education,
if
talking about.
he has information he didn't have then, don't you think it's only right to come out and say, Bane, here, I'm sorry, I didn't know what was happening.
No,
I
but
think
he said no, he hasn't. He can't do that. And most of you guys, most of those guys who are busy calling for the 50 kwacha millimil that he promised that it was going to cost 50, they were not at the rally when he was making those the promises. They were not there. They just edited and, of course, through their propaganda, just picked out that, but they don't know where the story ended, how he came to mention 50 kwacha. You see, they just picked that part, and they did this. They did so even in all other promises that he made. You know, HH to us that he used to preach to or he used to tell his supporters. We know the context in which he told us. We know what he meant by when he told you that when I'm sown in by this hour, it would. We know the context in what he meant. You know that the dollar will actually the kwacha will gain. We know the reason why he said so, because the international world, the international market, there was no. They lost interest in our country. Investors, they lost interest. Embassies were being closed. The Norwegian embassy got closed because of corruption. During PF, they decided to leave the country and relocated their embassy to Malawi in Lilongwe. Why? Because the PF government was so corrupt that the Norwegian, Scandinavians, they are allergic to corruption. They didn't like it. They decided to leave. And the other countries too, America also, we've had situations where ambassadors were being changed due to, the drama that was created. It was not just those. It was all those big investors that ought to have brought good business for Zambia, money for Zambia. They decided to leave. What does that mean? It meant that there was no confidence. The investors had lost confidence in our country. That's why we are where we are, because there was no production. We were not producing anything. We closed the mines. We took the mines to the people that were trying to help us pay our bills and stuff. We took them to court. We chucked them out, hoping that we can run our mines also. We put almost, I don't know how, the number of the copperers that went without jobs. They were declared redundant. Or retrenched. They lost their jobs. Kumaini kulia konse kuma copper mine kulia. But because HH, when he talked about there will be now more confidence in investors coming back, and there will be more production, it meant that people trust him. And truly we can see that there has been a lot of investment in our country now. We have solar. People have invested in solar. We have a lot of mines that are now opening. We have partnered with the Arabs that are coming in to do our minings, to help us revamp our mining. And we know that it takes time for the dividends to come. Even this kwacha dollar we are busy complaining about, it would definitely go, the kwacha would definitely gain more power than how HH found it, because HH together with his group found this dollar going down, going fast. The economy was nosediving, that we could have crashed. The government could have gone broke if we could even default. What does that mean? What did that mean? That we didn't have the money, we didn't have the capacity, because of bad policies, because of bad leadership. But now the trust and the confidence in investors and other countries, they are now coming back. So we know that this period of time, it is just a temporal. This is just temporal setback. And this was precipitated by the weather, the natural causes, and this global warming. You know that what the effect and also we have war taking place in places where we buy or we purchase our products, such as fuel. The war in Ukraine and Russia, that has affected us also. And on top of that, to make the matters worse, our own politicians in Zambia, instead of having saved the money, they decided to pocket the money and share it within their families and within themselves. And that has now added more heavy load onto our nation. That's why we are where we are today. It won't be easy. We told you, the Zambian people, to say, ishindalama basende shibayiva ba PF or ba onaola, baya kongola ma millions ama billions, kutati babweshe kutati balange batulange ofyo bachitapa ndalama shiria, because indalama shali shing lelo Luapula province it was going to be the richest province in the country. Imisebonga bali kula kale ama bridges ama hospitals each, but indalama shonse shira shaya kwisa. Look at the
Okay.
project Bach. So
Mukelabai,
it
if I
is
if
it is with that,
if
it is in with that background that has costed Zambia to be where we are today. So this period we are passing through, it was inevitable to go through this. We could not, even if we had voted for Edgar Changwalungu to be in president, we were going to go through this. Actually, the worst it could have happened. But now, because we voted for somebody that at least
Mukelabai,
has the technical know-how. Yes, please.
Mukelabai, let us look at the role of leaders, maybe. Uh, Help us understand what is the role of a leader when faced with challenges. Is it to stand on the mountain to explain what the challenge is, or to find solutions? Let's look at the current crisis in electricity. Maybe let me bring in that one. My worry right now is, we look like we are a country that is now hoping and praying that we have enough rains come next rain season so that we can make it to next year. If that doesn't happen, I don't know where we'll be next year as a country. Yes, quite a number of measures have been put in place. We are hearing this power station is going to be constructed. This power station is not going to be constructed, but the reality of the matter is that so far zero has been done. So, what is the
What do you
role
mean
of
zero? What do you
all
mean zero has been done?
all the solar power plants that we are being told about? None of them has actually started construction as we stand in reality.
Mm-mm.
So
You mean
we
you mean they have not started operation or to produce power?
construction, because we are being told there will be construction of this solar power plant, there will be construction of that solar plant, but none of them has started being constructed as we speak, despite having a minimum of 12 hours load shedding for the last,
I
I
live.
don't know how, but we've had load shedding for quite some time now. And my worry is, we are looking to get through to the next rain season so that maybe we can see what happens after that. So where is the leadership in that? Because if all was well, we should have seen a lot of things moving right now, because a lot of businesses are collapsing. A lot of people are failing to work because of this load shedding, and it's not a surprise that the economy is going down in this amidst this crisis. So, what is the role of our leaders in such a crisis?
Thank you. No, I'm not a government spokesperson, but from the little knowledge that I know of is that yes, uh, the law, the role of the government or leadership in a crisis like this is to simply um, come to the people with either plans on how to navigate through these challenges and solutions on what they intend to do with what is currently taking place. So I believe already there has been a lot of activities. The only problem that we have in Zambia is that we have a tendency of um, avoiding to get to know the truth, and we would rather jump onto innuendos and rumors on propaganda because it sounds more good. But and uh, the truth and the reports from the government are considered not interesting at all. We want information that is coming from the opposition or from people that are going to make drama out of the situation, even when the government has given solutions. I have not heard anyone challenging the government for the solution that they have now come up with, or challenging and give the counter uh, solutions. I haven't heard anything. The only thing I hear is the opposition and the public just busy pointing fingers at the promises that were made during the campaigns time, that you have to fulfill this, you have to fulfill. But we are forgetting about the problems that we had the time when HH was busy making those promises, and the people that caused that. What is it that we have done? Have we recovered the money yet? Have we done what solutions have we done? Already the solutions are there to recover the stolen properties and monies. We have seen many cases are in court today, and the government is coming forward to tell you and me on the future plans that we are going to, yes, to get results, a good results, that we should not be dependent on hydroelectricity, but we can also have other sources of energy. And they came up with the solar energy plantations. And already I have seen some pictures going around in the social media where one of the plantation was already have already the solar panels already set. I mean, I think they are just yet to be. It is yet to be commissioned. I have also heard the government having uh, uh, deliberately put some incentives on people that are going to purchase solar panels and genesets, that they are not supposed to be taxed. It should be tax free. That is also an effort being made by the government in mitigating the current situation. You know, that individuals, those that have the capacity, they can also do that. You can go and purchase solar panels where you can, they cost a lot of money. You can put solar panels on your house, you know, and then you yourself, you'll be producing power, and the power, the excess of that power, you will be selling that power to the main line, which is the ZESCO. And the ZESCO, instead of that power being wasted, they distribute it and give it to other places that needs power. That is part of the action that the government has taken also. It is, they are doing something, but we are not going to hear you people talking about it. All we hear is you guys downplaying the government, claiming that they are not doing, they don't have your interest as citizens at heart, and they are making it worse. It's like you are saying that the government is doing it deliberately to load shed you guys, to load shed the nation. It's a deliberate move, and we can hear from the way you are saying, it's like they just want, you want the government, you are accusing the government that the government is punishing you. For what? What is there? Instead of the government
I think
complaining of
that is an
losing money.
overstatement. No one has said the government is punishing anyone. Um,
Yeah, but
um, uh, I think
that is
the question is barely asking. W- you know, when there is a problem, let me give the background of the question. You were just explaining what has happened. You know, you brought in the war in Russia. You brought in this and that factors as to why those campaign promises could not be delivered. But the question is actually, everybody knows what the problem is. As leaders, isn't it our duty to find solutions for those problems and not being mere explainers of what the problem is. That's where the question is. Not saying that the government is trying to punish anyone. I think that is not the correct position of my question, sir.
No, the thing is, the government has solution, but it's like you, the citizens, are not satisfied with the solution that the government has given you. The government has found solutions to mitigate these current challenges, but you don't want to hear the truth. You want it to hear the most popular thing that you may want to know is from the either the opposition that are busy coming up with all the propagandas, lying, things that are not into influation, things that are just uh, rumors, or they're just coming up with the figures, fake figures, so that they can decampaign this current government, so that they go out and they come in. Lies. The government, go to the website and find out what this government is doing. Read, Zambians, read your government, ask your government, go and get information from your government. The government has all the information and all the answers. But the problem that I've noticed is that Zambian people don't want to know the truth. They would rather go elsewhere. They would rather listen to Venechirufya Tayari on the street. That's the level of the kind of people that we have reduced ourselves to. We don't want to get the truth. And once we understand, of course, certain things, certain explanations are a little bit difficult, of course. But if you want to ask the government to interpret what they mean, what is it that you're doing? What is it that you are saying? You as citizen, you have all the right. You can actually walk into a government institution and demand answers, and they'll give it to you because it's a public institution. If they deny and they start throwing tantrums on you or coming up with the authoritative way of, you tell them you work for us. You have no right to do those things, to say what you're saying. You have the right to report to us and give us information that we want. But the problem is people don't want to, they don't want the answers that they are getting from the government. They want answers that will make them feel okay, even when it's not true. That's why the PF lied to you, the Zambian people. That's why they were avoiding to tell you the truth, because for fear of people going to start questioning and you're going to lose votes. But this government, it does not do that. This government is telling you, even when they make wrong decisions, they are even asking you, guys, come in, come forward, give us your solutions. If you have any solutions, come forward. But we are not utilizing, we are not taking that advantage. Instead, we take it to the public rally
Okay,
and start showering them with insults and profanities.
maybe let me do it this way. Let me do it this way. I'm going to quote President Hakainde Hichilema whilst in opposition. Um, in 2021, actually early 2021, when the incumbent actually said the issues that were being faced by PF when they said it was due to climate change. He said there is nothing like climate change, it's just lack of visionary leadership. End of quote. And yet, when we have the same problems now, he also says it's climate change. Now, climate change can only affect UPND government and not affect the PF government. Is that what we are trying to say?
See, that's the problem. That's the problem. Mulabutukira okuya ikata insoka kumuchila mwasho mutwe. Yala misuma. Insoka insoka twita ati ECL. Yala misuma nga mwere ikatira kumuchila. Ikatire n'insoka kumutwe. You see, you are going. Akahinde, what he meant during those rallies to say um, it's lack of leadership. It's because of the period of time that this government, the PF government, was in power. For the past 10 years, we were having load shedded. We have been load shedded year in, year out. Huh? They had no solution, permanent solution, alternative solutions to these problems. They know for the fact that there's global warming that is affecting even the weather pattern. They knew, and then they go borrow money to go and construct the hydropower instead of having in uh, um come if instead of um, investing into other source of energy, but they went back to the same hydro, meaning whenever there was going to be lack of rain, we were still going to be subjected to load shedding, no matter how much money we have spent, no matter how much money we have invested in hydropower, because there's no water.
And funny enough, it's President Hakainde Hichilema who even went to commission the Kafue power station and
Exactly.
used that
You want
as
him
a
to
reason
just
why
abandon the
he ended
project?
the load shedding earlier on in his tenure. He said, "We have ended load shedding." That was because he commissioned that project that was started by the PF.
No, 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 no. He said he ended load shedding that time, okay, because there were a lot of monies that were being owed to Mamba Couriers. They had to pay Mamba for Mamba Couriers to start doing what? To unlock their powers as well. At the same time, there was a lot of investment that was made into hydro, into that project there. He was like, if we leave this, then the money will be just gone like that. Let's see what happens. This is our friends who started this project. Let's finish it up because money has been spent there. Let's finish it up, and when it's finished, commissioned it. It's like the way it's like the way Lungu commissioned the bridge, or Kazungula Bridge. That Kazungula Bridge was Mwanawasa who started that bridge. But we appreciate because government continues. Status quo must continue. Despite these guys changing hands, changing offices, the government has to continue. Project must continue. Developmental project must continue. So it's not about individuals who started what, who did what. HH commissioned, yes, but that project was not started by HH government. And what you have to remember is that this government has been in office for only 2.5 years, Mwebantu. You expect him to do everything, the mistakes that was created for 10 years. Who does that? You are being unfair and unreasonable, especially the opposition that are busy claiming that this government has failed to deliver its promises. And you start calling the current leadership that they are liars. No, you can't do that. Call them liars in 2026. See, wage, put them on the scale. See how they have performed. If they need another 5 years, we'll give them another try. But judging them in 2.5 years in office to say they have failed, then there's something that we are hiding. What's the rush? They can do a lot in the remaining 2 years that is remaining. Things can change. And what are you going to say? So don't push them to do stupid things. Let us tell them to do the right things.
Okay, let me let me just bring in Himba. Good evening, Himba, first and foremost, and thank you so much for joining us this evening.
Good evening, and good evening, viewers. It's nice to be on the program again today. However, please
Okay,
bear with me. I'm unable to be on camera this evening. Hope you're okay with me being off camera for now.
okay. Thank you so much. I think for you, I would love us to take quite a different approach to what we are talking about with Mukelabai. Uh, let's look at let's look at the way the head of state was disparaged. Um, the names that he was called and all that, and how magnanimous he has been in not responding to such trivial remarks. What is your comment on uh, you know the head of state, the way he has handled all this, especially the name calling part?
You know what, Lawrence? Ababemba batira kange natusambirira nomba naifwe kuli ba serpent. Ababemba batira uwa mutwe ukulu tasole enkonyo. And being a leader, again, they've also said abantu nga bali kutukensere bali kulatisa amabwe kusuba mafuta nga uli ntungulushi. So on that one, I'm giving 100% to our president. He has managed bafye, because he's got an agenda and he's got a vision he's trying to chase. Ababemba bene batira nga olenda mu nsebo uli wonse wakubosa embwa yakubosa wapepe kata wakafikoko oleya. I've learned na never serpent now ansambisha umvera. So basically what we are saying is if you've got a vision, you're not going to respond to every person who's going to come and attack you. You'll not reach where you're going. You're not going to deliver. President HH was not voted to answer what the cheap propagandists and the serpents and the children are going to say. That's not why we voted for him. We voted for him to improve the economy of Zambia, to bring back our identity, to bring back our inheritance, which were being sold out, Pankongole, which he's doing, and we are happy with it. This name calling, I'm going to give a practical example, like, even in school, the children who bully other children, it's those who are down. You never find an intelligent child bullying other friends. Lyonse abatemwa name calling kutendeka abana bonifide fikopo. So this name calling, you only have time to call your friend names because you're an empty tin, because you don't have anything to offer. That's when you're going to call your friend names, because if you've got your mind is busy, you'll not even find time to call somebody names. There's no way. And right now, I don't think it would be right for President HH to respond to some of these things, because the other person has decided to reduce himself to the level of the cadre. He's no longer a statesman. So President HH has to deal with people at his level, people who are not cadres, people who are willing to bring ideas to the table. You know, there's nothing. If we follow whatever they are saying, what can he respond? What can he say? Nothing. Somebody is saying, I'm going to employ 1 million people or youths. How are you going to employ those people? How?
But
You're
Himba, if you look at that narrative, the same thing was being asked by the PF when the president announced that he is going to employ 30,000 health workers. Everybody was asking, how will he do that? I mean, hasn't he done that?
He's
So,
done it, but the difference, Lawrence, let's not mislead people. This person further went and said, tukatampokulembesha next week, which means this week na batampokulembesha. Where and how? He didn't just say that twice. I said tukatampokulembesha next week. So can somebody really, with an upright mind, respond to such nonsense? And then the person even goes, we are tired of this politics of aya malufumo. We are tired ama politics aya kweba tumuntu alefwa. And we are not going to make the same mistake we made some time back. We are being told I want to come into politics because for my family. A person has told you. This is a person in the past who told you I've got no vision, and he was voted in. And now he says I'm coming back into politics because of my family, because of my children. He's not even coming into politics and if we look at the way this guy, he's honest with us. Nifwe na Zambia fwe quite a problem. He's very honest. There's ama politics because there's a kwana. And even when they speak the co-president HH names, he's already told us. He hasn't said I'm going to develop Zambia. He hasn't said I'm going to change the narrative of the economy in Zambia. He hasn't said all that. Or he said I'm coming back. So which means he's got his personal agenda he's pushing. So it's up to us, the Zambian people, to give him the platform to push that personal agenda he has. And one of these personal agenda he has is the greediness, the bitterness, which now it leads them to start calling the president the names. Start calling, and I'm so glad that the president is not responding and he has no time to respond to that. That's not what we voted him into power. We voted him to change the narrative and the lives of the Zambian people.
Okay, Mukelabai, if we look at what Himba has said, and also let's bear in mind that the president, not today's press briefing, the most recent uh, uh, press briefing before today's, he mentioned to say they sometimes talk with President Edgar Lungu on phone. And so when all these these petty issues pop up, he gets surprised because they do talk. Now, one has to wonder, why should the people act as enemies in public and talk on phone uh, behind closed doors?
Well, they are politicking. That's what politics is all about. They will come out there to sell themselves, to sell their agenda, their manifesto, and bring down their opponents. At the end of the day, when they meet on the sides, they are sharing a glass of. They can have a cup of tea or coffee together. That's politics. Work. We have to learn how to differentiate business and pleasure. When it comes for business, it's business. But then if you want to mix and go and start attacking somebody in a personal assassination, then you're crossing the line. You're crossing the line. You saw what Chimbakambwili did. You know what Chimbakambwili has been saying about HH. The moment he got sick, who gave instructions for him, Chimbakambwili, to be flown to save his life? The person that was being blasted, or rather bombarded with all negativities, is the one that went and saved his life by taking him out to go to seek further medical attention. I believe the government must have even paid for the bill. So at the end of the day, it's the maturity. Have we heard the former president making any efforts in wanting to talk to the current president? No. But have we heard the current president making effort talking to the former president? Yes, we've heard that they've had talks. The question is, who has been initiating all those talks? The smart one. That's the way to go. And if Lungu wants to play it politics, you see the problem that Volungu is making, the mistake that Mr. Lungu is making is that he wants to um, retaliate or revenge for that defeat. Well, that's the only anger he has against the incumbent. And also, you have to understand one thing. When HH was in opposition under President Lungu, HH was subjected to untold sufferings. We all witnessed those things. We saw what was happening. I only wish Lungu could just lower himself and behave, because if HH start unleashing, because HH has good reasons and good excuse to treat Lungu differently because of what he was subjected to. But he's not doing that. This prosecution that we see taking place of his wife, of the wife to Esther Lungu, that was not HH who started that case. It is Edgar Changwa who started that case himself. That is a case of a family dispute that involved the police at the end of the day. The police got involved, started asking questions, because Esther Lungu rose a lot of eyebrows. The monies she was busy dishing out and giving, the state has to get interested. Why didn't you keep the money in the bank? Of course, you have the right to use the money at any time, at any place. You can keep the money anywhere. But looking at the stature, the status of the caliber, you were the first lady, married to the president. Suddenly you start giving nieces 300,000 US dollars for safekeeping. What happened to the banks? You were rubbing shoulders with the governor, Bank of Zambia governor. You were in charge of the country. Suddenly you can't trust those people to keep the money for you, and you go and keep the money to your niece. That rose a lot of eyebrows. And that is where now the Anti-Corruption Commission, they were like, no, palichimo. And they have all the right to suspect and to investigate. Nipanoturi. So Lungu should not even start blaming or pointing a finger at HH, because if HH wants to retaliate for the things that he was subjected to, I think Lungu could have joined Chirifetayali in exile. Lungu could have just disappeared, could have joined the Kaiser Zulu together.
Okay, but many seem to believe that there is some kind of a vendetta which is being done by systematically being done by the president to everybody who played a part uh, in uh, in I don't even know what term to use. I want to sound very polite and very formal, but I'm trying to say s- many people believe the president is actually uh, playing revenge right now towards everybody who played a part in tormenting him whilst he was in opposition. And the only reason he has not yet gotten to President Edgar Lungu is because he has the immunity. And right now, the law on immunity seems to be the problem into for the UPND as to how they would dismantle that against him.
No, that's just your thought, but that's not HH's opinion. what is currently happening right now is that there's a prima facie evidence that has been established to prosecute Esther Changwalu, Esther Lungu. You know, there's a reason, there's a probable cause for the government to go in and arrest, charge Tasila Lungu. There is a probable cause. It's the law. It is written. Not that it is created or the way they concocted that traffic infraction of HH in Mongu to slap him with treason. No. This time around, these are cases that we see. The daughters have been asked questions. Where did you get this money? How did you? And they're using the law. It's not that it was concocted. No. Esther Lungu did not concoct those $300,000. No. Those deals they were making between Lungu family and the lady that chewed that money, that was not a concocted story. That was not frivolous. That was actual agreement that took place. Created by who? The Lungus. And it came, that case brought itself. Did it bring itself to the police? No. The very Lungu families, the niece, brought the case to the police. The state got involved. The son to Edgar Changwalungu is bought so many vehicles and a lot of things. They're asking, look at your age. An average Zambian, before your dad was this, you had nothing. You were not even driving a Spasho. But after your dad just left office, look at you. 200 vehicles, one individual. Where did you get the money? How did you reach this far? Moreover, there was a financial crisis in the world at that time. Businessmen, they were complaining. When they used Georgia, they were complaining of the business hardship.
Let me give Himba a chance to sum up this particular rally in her own words. What words do you have for this rally? How do you sum it up? After all is said and done, what you have seen, what you have heard, what you have read, how do you sum it up?
I have a question for you. Before, not even for you. Let me do the devil's advocate. The first question I want to ask the public is that if they are saying President HH wants to revenge, how many people has he taken to prison so far? How many people who can claim that have been jailed, especially these big political figures? Secondly, if HH wants to revenge, what is he going to benefit at the end of the day? And what is he waiting for all these 2 years to push in his personal agenda? Thirdly, so if people are saying HH wants to revenge, that's why he's following up these people who stole from the government, these people who is, that's why he's going for them. However, it's not even him going for them, it's the law that is going for them. Do people want us to stand and clap for these people and say, oh, twatotela mwaliva twatotela mwaliva twamyererako kuti mwasenda fyempi abalungu n'olupwa lwenu bonse bakayizya zulu fyonse fimwale ekitaisoke jeje wewale esundira abantu mukanwa, it's okay, please continue doing it. Is that what people want? For me, whoever is saying President HH wants to revenge, it's nonsense. We need to rule the country by the law. And if you ever committed a crime, you need to pay. Simple. No one is above the law. It doesn't matter what position you hold. It doesn't matter who you are. If you commit an offense, you should be responsible and you should pay for it. Simple. The only thing here is just that the PF, they are playing politics of defensive when they know what they did. They know what they did. Do you expect all those people who were killed? Today, I'm just from I'm from watching a video where JJ Banda was involved, and the person whom he offended was claiming to say, I want my case to be opened because I was not happy to be reopened, because I was not happy the way it was handled. So are we saying we need to tell this person, ah, is that what we are saying? This has nothing to do with President HH. It's us, the people of Zambia. We appointed ECL and his team into power. We voted for them. They need to be accountable to us. All we are doing is just we just want what belongs to us to come back. And they've let us down. He was a letdown. We trusted them with our national coffers. But what did they do? They decided to be giving the slay queens. They decided to be building mansions. They decided even to steal what they didn't need. All we are saying, can you bring back? It's not HH. HH, we've put him into this office to do this. Because even him, he'll be accountable if he let these people get away with this. We are going to ask him, we voted for you to go and protect our assets. What did you do? So this has nothing to do with HH. This has literally nothing to do with HH. It's between the former regime and the people of Zambia. And even in this current regime, ngakuli abaleiva, ngakuli abaletwibira amakofas yesu, we will ask President HH that what is he doing to them? Because we want the Lord to visit them. We want to have sanity. We want our country to develop. We will not be able to develop if our bucket of economy is leaking. We need to seal the bucket. We need to seal the bucket, so that the wealth should be contained and every Zambian can benefit from the national cake. So this has nothing to do with President HH. It's us, the Zambian people. Thank you.
Okay, let me bring in Mukelabai. How do you sum this particular rally?
The rally was, like I said yesterday, those guys had an opportunity to put this government on task. We are not stopping UKA, whatever you call them, from giving or putting this government on its toes, on checks and balance. Ask them questions, real tough questions. How are they going to, how far from the time they have managed, from the time they came into office to today? It's been almost 2.5, close to 3 years now. What is it that how have they managed to maintain this status quo? Why are things like this? What is it that is causing all this? What are the issues? But instead, you saw for yourselves. You saw for yourselves that these guys are not up to no good. They have no foresight. They have no direction. They are disorganized. The only thing that is there that I saw is just status. Busy calling each other Mr. President, Mr. President. That, they love it. Madam President, Mr. President. Everyone, I've never seen a country that is so possessed with leadership that everyone wants to be a president. Instead of them rally behind one individual, come together and simply say, we are appointing this person is the person that we are going to rally behind. No, everyone wants to be president. Do you honestly think they are going to manage? If they failed to manage their own political party, PF, there was power struggle ever since Michael Chirifyasata died. There has been power struggle in PF. And that has gone it has been there for more than years. And to date, we are still seeing them fighting. Right now, Mr. Edgar Changwalungu has no portfolio. Like I said yesterday, what position does he hold in PF? What is his current status, apart from being the former party president and the former president of the Republic of Zambia? What position does he hold in UKA? In what capacity was Edgar Changwalungu presenting himself or busy talking at that rally? He has no status. He was just a simple cadre or a special guest. So, Zambians, let's not waste much of our time with these mediocres. I wish we had a strong opposition. I was praying very well. Now, instead of using their brains, they could have just come and these are young and just too much noise. Unfortunately, empty heads. We could have had strong opposition by now. Beneshon Tembo, look at this, the caliber. These are intelligent young men, but their approach to politics is so disappointing. The politics of name calling, the politics of insults, character assassinating, lies after lies, and they call themselves Christians. That political rally was a sheer waste of time. They disappointed us, these UKA guys, despite crying.
Mukelabai,
Sure.
we've heard they are saying the president just wasted time over the press briefing he had this morning. They're saying there's no issues which has come out. What is your reaction and what is your opinion over the press briefing?
No, I saw the press briefing just briefly. I was at work. I was about to watch it, but from what I saw is that he is trying to improve the working conditions or the working relationships between the civil servants, where he was putting up a 24-hour economic or whatever, if I heard him correctly.
Yeah, he talked about putting where the country, especially in Lusaka first, I think it's going to be like a pilot program where we're going to have 24 hours working economy. Maybe businesses will be running for 24 hours, which it's in the process. And he also talked about the government vehicles to be available to those who've got government vehicles. They will be available 24/7 to them to be used, so that when they are needed, whatever time, they should be able to go and attend to those needs. He also talked about the measures that are being put in place to handle or to take care of the drought which we are going through as a nation. And I think overall he was also updating the nation on where we are with the current happenings in the country.
Yeah, I heard also on the issue to do with maize that there was that reverse something where they were purchasing the depots where maize was being collected by the FRA.
Yeah.
Now those are the places where the maize will be delivered to for
Yeah.
distributions to the people.
Yeah.
I think that's what I heard. Now imagine I didn't hear the whole press conference, and this is what I got from that. And then someone comes and say that press conference was nothing.
There's one point you also raised, Mukelabai. He also talked about What is killing our economy? It's ignorance. What is killing the people of Zambia? It's ignorance. And which I think, I totally agree with him. People will not appreciate the press briefing because of ignorance. Because
Yeah.
if you understand that it is the responsibility of the president to inform the nation on what is happening, especially now that when there's a drought in our country, that is an emergency, that is a
It
crisis.
is.
So we need
Absolutely.
continuously updates from the leaders and from the key players. But then the people are saying it's not necessary. He didn't bring solutions. Who said every press briefing he has to bring solutions? He needs to engage with the people. He needs to communicate.
He is engaging. The
Yeah,
problem is that they think every time he's addressing, they want to hear him attacking or bombarding. They want to hear him using the propaganda, which is not which doesn't sound okay for them, because they thrive when they hear drama,
but we
when they
shouldn't.
hear amapinda,
But
kulelandira amapinda.
But we shouldn't blame the citizens because where we've come from, this is new. Even in the house, when you're bringing in new things, I mean, it takes time for children and every member of the house to get used to. Where we are coming from, these are the things that never happened. The president never addressed the nation. The president never briefed the nation on what he was doing. So for people to see this is something new. Having a president who's
Yeah,
coming to talk to you on like almost
we are not used to that, because Edgar Changwalungu really made us believe that no wonder there was a lot of deals that were taking place behind closed doors,
yeah.
because he was never transparent. There was never transparency. They were lying. Remember when Sata got sick?
Yeah, and there's the in fact there's no
They never said a thing.
and
They lied.
there's definitely there was a gap between the Zambian people and the leadership. Gap fairly
Mhm.
so people were the other side na abantu bali uku ubuteko buli uku bulechite ifyabo. That's why at the end of the day, these people they even thought, they got to the point where they made education irrelevant and
Mhm.
they made the people of Zambia believe that being a cadre it was more worthful than being educated.
Educated. It's
Yeah.
true.
But
And to make matters worse, Mr. Lungu, who went to university, kuyasomesha tibachite scrap of meal allowance, honestly.
because
To
education
me,
was not important, Mukelabai, education was not important. So he needed to find money to take where it was important. Kuyapela slay queens, namakadas.
nama rebels ku Rwanda.
I tell you. However,
Ah, man.
Mukelabai, as we come to the end of the program, please, your last remarks.
My last remarks are that my fellow Zambians, please let us let us learn to read, and also let us utilize our gadgets, use our mobile data on some information that are beneficial, not innuendos, lies, tabloids, and propaganda. And how to know about propaganda is because propaganda sounds more interesting than the real issues. So read, go on the government websites, on each ministry. They have all the websites in place, and you have the right to information, have access to any information that you want. You don't need to listen to hear from a third party, the person that claims that they know it all. You yourselves can do it yourself. You can get information about the date, about the works that is taking place in Zambia, about the CDF, the monies distributed to all the constituencies. You, the Zambians, have all the right to that information, and the information is available out there. But people do not choose to listen to aba abufi ba Kelenka, abantu ekifuku kipamula ndoti baaliluusa ama elections, and leero 2.5 years yapita ati yo omuntu nafirwa. Omuntu talapwisha na 90 minutes yako ati nafirwa. Awe mayo mulekeni omuntu uyu atutwale mu 2026 nga twali mutemwa futi tulefu ati akapitirishe tukamvotera futi akatwale akese futi kwisapwisha ama project yako tatulefu ati abana besu twambe okulipira amaskulu futi awe ifintu tunafidula ichalo chonse the whole world ifintu tunafidula so iseni tumwikate n'amaboko yabiri HH awe ala tusunga bwino natuswila ama mines imigodi shesu copper belt nashisuka ababululu besu n'abamba enchito n'abamba okubomba balungu balisela emigodi lelo ba HH bayayisula emigodi lelo ababululu besu bamba okufola bali ambe n'enchito so at least iseni tubapele chance bantu nga mwamfunyapo HH nishi mwaisala futi ama mines ama investors bakabutukana futi bwafya bulipo ubunga bwena bukabwela ama fuel atuleshitaya impia shikafula matumba yesu because the investment that has been made by this government from the time they came into government, it is enormous and we are going to yield good dividends and Zambian people are going. Let me end here. Ala kale valika mwebekala chalo kale valika. Epa shiripa kuleka. Natote.
Thank you so much, Mukelabai. To our viewers out there, the Zambian people whom we love so much, I would say an ignorant mind is very dangerous than cancer. Please, let's let us support President HH on these policies he's bringing, on these policies he's implementing. The free education, believe you me, it's a very beneficial and it's a very, very rich investment. The wise people say the greatest inheritance a child can never inherit from the parents and the nation, it's education. And because when you educate a child, you educate a nation. And an educated child, they'll be able to survive anywhere in the world where they will go. They'll be able to get a job. And what President HH is giving the young people of Zambia, it's a great inheritance. Let us support this man. Let us be with him. He means well for Zambia. Having said that, I say thank you so much for being with us. May God be with you. Make a date with us as we meet and discuss the from me, Himba Malambo, and the rest of Ubuntu team, not forgetting our brilliant, fantastic director, Emmanuel Kunika. From us as a team, we're saying bye-bye.